Hello and welcome to the Friday, January 19th edition of the Contributor Comms sub-project of SIG ContribEx team meeting. I don't know why I did all of that today, but I did. A reminder that we operate under a code of conduct, which essentially says to be respectful of your fellow speakers and attendees and generally be excellent to each other. We usually like to take an opportunity here at the beginning of the call for folks to introduce themselves if there's anyone new on the call. So we should go ahead and do a round of full introductions. Would the new folks like to go first? Or would they like to go last?
I think the new folks should go last.
They should go last, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Agreed.
Shifting my my process on this. All right, I will start. Hi, everyone. I'm Caslin Fields, and I'm a developer advocate at Google, and I am a SIG co-chair of SIG ContribEx, the special interest group for contributor experience. And I also am a lead of this sub-project. And to kind of overview the group a little bit, we are the contributor comms team. Our original charter was around making sure that folks within the contributor community, folks who contribute to Kubernetes, understand and know what's going on in the community, and to some degree, making sure that folks outside of the community know about the awesome work that contributors are doing. We are also starting to take on some responsibilities around end user communications, communicating with folks who are outside of the contributor community, but that's kind of just starting. A few of the things that we do are write blog posts. We have a regular blog series called the SIG Spotlight blogs, where one of our members will interview a SIG, the leads of a SIG or the co-chairs of a SIG or just one of the co-chairs of a SIG, whoever the leaders of the SIG are who think they should be the ones who are interviewed. And then they write a blog post about it and post that on Kubernetes.io and also the contributor website, which is k8s.dev. We also run K8s contributors on Zitter, whatever we call that website now, and have a few other social media sites and tools that we use to post on social media. So that's a brief overview of the group and myself, and I'll pass it over to Chris.
Hi, I'm Chris Short. I currently work at AWS as a developer advocate. I have been in the project for quite some time, so if you're curious about anything going on, feel free to ask me. I am also a co-lead of this sub-project, and I usually work in ContribEx, sometimes in SIG Infra, most of the time comms. Ian, you want to talk? And yes, shitter is the correct pronunciation.
My name is Ian, and I don't know what's going on with my camera, and it's weird, so I'm going to stop it. Hello, I am a shadow here at Contributor Comms, and I'm very excited to be here. I'm also the co-chair of SIG Security, and my pronouns are they, them. Hi, everybody.
Oh, we should do pronouns too. She, her.
Oh, yeah, same.
I'm so bad.
Sorry.
Should I go?
Yes.
Why not?
Yeah, you should.
Yeah. Okay. Hello, I'm Fred. I'm currently working at SAS Institute as a cloud and architecture lead for Europe. In terms of the project, I'm mostly focused on the blogging stuff. So I'm currently blogging leads and also part of the Kubernetes release team currently. I live in Lisbon, Portugal, and that's pretty much it.
Pronouns?
He, him, sorry.
Wonderful. I'll just call on people. I'll call on Sriram next because you're next in my list.
Hey everyone, I'm Sriram. I take part in SIG ContribEx comms by I'm part of the last week in Kubernetes development newsletter team, along with Mario, who is also on the call. Yeah. Yeah, I am also part of the release team. In my day job, I work as software engineer at a company called Big Binary. And yeah, I'm from India. Yeah, that's all about me. My pronouns are he, him. And by the way, I think we should add the pronouns to the attendees list in the doc, because
Agreed.
Yeah,
I
why
see
not?
we do that for the other, like the release team meetings, we do that. Yeah.
We do it at the SIG security meetings too.
Wonderful. Thank you. I'll just call on people. That keeps things in order. Nigel is next in my list.
Hey, y'all, I'm Nigel, developer advocate at Intuit. Do things with SIG ContribEx, moderate the YouTube channel, and various other things. Also part of the release team, enhancement shadow for the 1.30 release. Pronouns, he, him usually.
Wonderful. Mario is next in my list, along with your cat, if you could introduce them.
Hi, I'm Mario. I am part of Cicades Infra usually, but I also do software enhancements or writing scripts for SIG Comms or SIG ContribEx. I'm also part of the last week in Kubernetes development newsletter, as was already stated. I work for Kubernetes as a software delivery architect, and I am based in Germany, and this is Fina. And my pronouns are he, him.
Hello, Fina. All right. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce your first name correctly, so Princess, could you go next?
Hi everyone, good evening. I am okay, I don't know what time it is where you are, but it's evening over here. Yeah,
We have
I'm
the
a
whole gamut here.
yeah, I'm a DevRel engineer at Spectral Cloud. I am also a part of I just recently joined SIG release team. I was also part of I was a shadow for the last release and the current release as well. And I'm also a shadow for MKCC under Caslin. I'm currently based in Lagos, Nigeria. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and that's part of the contributor summit. Mario is also a lead for the contributor summit. We could talk about that later. But thank you. Also, could you pronounce your name for me? So that I can start learning it.
Yeah, so it goes Onwe Bube, but you can call me Bube.
Okay.
Yeah,
Bube.
Bube or Princess, yeah.
Ube. Okay.
Okay. Bube. Thank you. And she, her pronouns?
Yep, she, her. I'll just add it.
Wonderful. Thank you. The next person in my list is Devansh, if you would like to introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, I am
Hello.
Devansh Kumar. I am a third year computer science and engineering student in NIT Surathkal. I am from India, and this is the first time I'm attending a Kubernetes meeting of any sort. And I'm just really glad to be here. Thanks for having me over.
Wonderful. Welcome. We're excited to have you. We'll move on to the next person, Nishita.
Hello everyone, I'm Nishita. I'm a student from India and I'm here to know what I can contribute to, like to know what it is here and what I can help in. And that's it. My pronouns are she or her. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. And we'll talk a little bit more about what new folks could do to get involved as we go through some of our action items. Arpit, you're the last one on my list. Arpit, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, there you are.
Hello everyone. I am Arpit. I am currently final year student of BTech. I am also from India. Also, I am being the part of SIG ContribEx for a year now. Also, I am now started to explore more of Kubernetes 6, recently contributing to SIG testing. That's all about me.
Wonderful. SIG testing was the first SIG that I tried to get into, and I didn't do it that time, but I got into this one. So not because they didn't want me to contribute there or anything, just because I don't know, didn't click. That happens a lot.
Yeah, I started in
Welcome.
docs. Yeah, that was
Very
tough.
common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our docs team is very good, but they have very, very defined processes.
Gotta find the group that works for you.
Yep.
All right. Anything else I should go over real quick? We're probably good to hop into our tasks. Oh, I remember what it was that I was gonna say. This is a very casual meeting, so everyone, even if you're new, feel free to interrupt and ask questions. Also, feel free to put them in the chat. We do pay attention to the chat as we go along. So don't hesitate to speak out and ask questions, even if you think it's a dumb question. It's not a dumb question. Things are very obscure in the world of open source Kubernetes, and sometimes we don't even realize it. So don't be afraid to ask us.
And there is no such thing as a dumb question.
No such thing as a dumb question. Definitely. So let's hop into our agenda then. Like I said, feel free to interrupt at any time. But our first item on the agenda in new items is automation stuff, which I assume, Nigel, is why you're on today. I know you and Chris were going to meet today to talk about automation stuff, so it sounds like maybe that's already happened. Tell us about it.
That's a part of why I'm on, but there's actually a different conversation that happened in enhancements with
Oh,
that I'm here for.
excellent. Maybe we
but-
should do that one next then. And
Just
Chris
not-
or Nigel, either one of you can talk about the automation stuff. But let's
Sure.
put that on the agenda.
So Nigel, Mario, Avanesh, and I met earlier this morning, like an hour ago, and kind of went through all the scenarios that we currently automate with Zapier and what manual actions Nigel actually has to do as part of his day-to-day life in YouTube. And whilst just, digging and such, I logged into the Kubernetes Zapier account and I got a pop-up. And I put those two pop-ups on the comms channel. I could put them in the doc too, if necessary. Basically, Zapier's changing their pricing model to more of an execution-based pricing model, as opposed to like just buy a bunch of tasks and then when you run out, you're out. So you still get to buy a bunch of tasks. Your overages are like known costs per execution. But they also, all their little like extra formatting tools and everything else, these like transformation tools and even a write your own custom code tool, Python and JavaScript for those that are curious, all of that will become free on the new plans. So we might need to talk to somebody about migrating plans because part of what Nigel does cannot be automated with Zapier, not like native Zapier things. So there is the Zapier code tool function, whatever you want to call it. And Mario has taken up the task of working with Nigel to code out whatever kind of metadata changes need to happen. Seems to be entirely possible. And I have diagrammed the existing state and the potential new state in this issue, and more detail and such is involved there.
For what it's worth, the A in Zapier is long, like the A in paper. Say
Long A?
Zapier?
It's
It's
Zapier. My
Zapier?
former manager who trained me in on Kubernetes departed that company for Zapier.
Zapier.
So I've heard it said out loud.
I like it.
Zapier. Wow.
All right. Today I learned.
I'll just say Zapier.
Zapier. There we go.
Zapier. Confusion.
That's so confusing because each of the functions are called zaps.
Right.
That's true.
It's like, really?
That's-
Zapier?
I believe
my
they're
God.
called Zapes.
Zapes. There's an E in there. You just missed it.
He is silent.
He is
No.
invisible.
It's a silent Z, so it's just apps.
All right.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
so basically we want to reduce the time that Nigel needs to spend on this. And from a first view, this should be fairly easy to do. We just automate, or we just do our own REST call, because the own YouTube API of the SAP doesn't allow all of the things, but the YouTube API itself allows it. So we will basically work around it. And Chris created some nice diagrams
Yes.
to show the workflow, which are seen in the issue.
Yeah, so I learned Mermaid.js this morning because I got up at like 2:30 a.m. For reasons. Yeah, and pleasantly surprised by what you can do with it. Like I did not realize how powerful it was. So yeah,
So what you're saying is it has a siren call.
yeah.
Which I just put the Mermaid.js thing in updates and big wins, by the way, because we.
Oh yeah, if you want charts made, let me know. Right, like
there is an existing item on our board that we will get to later that we wanted diagrams for. I don't know what it was off the top.
yes. So I know we wanted to document what automations we have in place and kind of how they work now, and that can be with a chart and narrative. But where do we put it? Has been the question.
I see.
Between the four of us. ContribEx main level community is where I put the issue. Where do we want to store any artifacts? Documentation, stuff like that.
I mean, we could certainly do it in the comms repo. I have no problem with at least putting it there for now so that we can get started.
Yeah.
And we can continue to discuss if it should go somewhere else. But
Cool.
it's definitely a part of comms in a big way, but it's also beyond that. So
yeah.
we can start
like,
there and we can probably move
cool
it
with that,
if
Nigel?
folks are okay with that.
Everybody okay with that?
What do you think, Nigel?
Yeah, that works for me. I feel like, yeah. It's
Comms
more
is very low
ContribEx.
risk.
Yeah,
But,
exactly.
Okay.
Let's
Cool.
put docs in comms. Just go ahead and make a new folder in there.
Yep.
And, for now, and we'll see about
Doing this stuff.
putting it.
Oh, there's already an automation folder. Look at that. Never mind.
As a
There we go.
yeah.
I didn't even look. I didn't realize that was in here.
Yeah, I think we did make that like last year.
And I've even worked on it.
Yeah.
I'll just be over here.
As someone who also happens to wear the SIG co-chair hat, I should be more familiar with the higher level repos than I am. So I will use this as an excuse to kind of root around in there and figure out what's there to see where we might want to put this.
Totally fine. I mean, yeah, we just need a starting place, and I didn't realize we already had one. So yeah, here we go. Perfect. All right.
Yeah.
Do a pull on this one. I'll get to it.
Yeah. That was the other point about that. Wonderful. Any other points that you all want to talk about automation here? Put a link in the notes, by the way, to the image in Slack that you mentioned of the updated Zapier pricing.
Yeah, I didn't want to.
Seems like a net positive. So.
Yeah, I mean, overall, it's positive. I think we just got to figure out what the cost change may be, because we're not going over the how many tasks we have on a regular basis. That could change as more people get automated. More SIGs automate their YouTube workflow, Zoom to YouTube workflow.
Right. That is also a whole thing that I need to dive into deeper.
Yeah, like I'd be happy to do, like we did with Buffer, Crash Course on Zapier.
That'd be good.
Or
yeah, and we were saying last time.
Or Zapier, however you want to say
it. Zapier.
Zapier.
Oh, what was I gonna say? I keep losing things. Oh yeah, but I think it was Sriram who suggested last time that we should also do a recording of the buffer walkthrough. Was that you,
Yes.
Sriram?
We did
Am I
that, didn't
attributing
we?
that right?
I thought did we not?
Well, we did one in the last meeting, which is
Okay.
recorded and is up. But we were saying maybe we should do like a separate video of the buffer walkthrough, and maybe we should do a separate video of the Zapier walkthrough.
Yeah, I
Or
agree.
flow.
I think we could, or I could chop the last meeting or whatever meeting we did that ends video just to get the buffer part done. If you want, it's entirely fine.
True. I was pretty like casual with it, but done is better than not done. So maybe that's the best way to move forward. Recording this for YouTube. So maybe you should just do it in one of our meetings.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then just clip it.
Yeah.
So FYI, Nigel will try to do that. I'm going to add that to updates as well. We should. Oh, not a good place for that note. We should and make a clip of the buffer walkthrough to use as a separate instructional video. Wonderful.
Anybody remember what day we did that?
What day we did that?
Yeah, I gotta go find the
well,
video now.
I mean, it was a Friday.
Thanks,
It
guys.
was one of the last 2 Fridays. Not sure if it was last time or the time before. I think it might have been the time before.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, one of the last 2. A Friday in January of 2024. That only gives you 4 to look through at most. Well, could be 5 at most, I guess, but I don't know how many Fridays we have this month. Wonderful. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like 4 Fridays in this month. One more meeting of our group in January. We meet weekly, by the way, in case folks were not aware. Wonderful. Okay, any other new items before we move into updates and big wins?
Sriram, do you want to talk about the enhancements meeting yesterday?
That'd be awesome.
Right. Yeah, so Nigel and we attended the SIG architecture enhancements meeting yesterday, and we talked to Kirsten. And yeah, Nigel, I guess you can take up. Like basically, we recommended to Kirsten that she can reach out to SIG ContribEx. Like we were discussing like changes to the entire process of how we are tracking KEPs and like all the labels and like the possibility of automating like stuff that we do in GitHub right now, like adding labels and then keeping the board up to date and so on.
Yeah, there's a larger conversation about how we handle aging KEPs and how we should handle it, but also then like sort of trying to get an RFC out and maybe a survey out, which was the comms part of it, to talk to different folks involved with the project about their experience and what would be helpful, certainly in conjunction with SIG release as well, but trying to improve the experience for folks who are working on KEPs that are taking a long time, or like for easier organization of KEPs in the repo.
Do they have an idea of what format they want to use to gather feedback from the community about the KEP process? Maybe like a form that we could send out?
Yeah, that was one idea that was tossed out. We're also talking about maybe putting a session in at the contributor summit to talk to folks as well. But yeah, essentially just wanted to plant the seeds as that conversation is coming, and like wanting to get a jump on it.
¿Por qué no las dos?
Yeah, no,
You do both.
I am definitely a fan of like a multi-pronged approach to, you know, figuring this out. But yeah, want to definitely hear from more of the SIG enhancements folks, and what specifically they're looking for.
Is there a specific timeline on this project?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. I'll note that. Things without deadlines are dangerous. I'm worried this will drop off the face of the earth, but hopefully not. And you can't find it on YouTube?
Yeah, I scrubbed through a few of our last videos. I don't know where it is. I would have to probably look in Zoom, to be
Okay.
honest.
Could you ping me now in Slack, and I'll try to remember to go back and do that later? Because
I mean, I'm gonna do it after the meeting, but yeah, I can think.
yeah, and I'll help.
Great.
The end of this meeting is like a veil. My memory does not last beyond it. So things must be written down and pinged at me if I'm going to do them. Awesome. So this sounds like a really cool project that I hope that we will be able to be helpful with. Might also want to consider if we should do a Slack bot blast to SIGs. Probably not. We could probably do chairs and TLs. I should mention, I'm sure this will be brought up in chairs and TLs. But good to know. We'll make sure to keep an eye on that. And it sounds like Sriram and Nigel, are you all going to keep attending meetings for this? What is our best way to keep contact with the
Yeah.
SIG that's doing this?
I mean, I will definitely try to if meetings allow.
Yep,
Cool.
same here.
Wonderful. Thank you. I love seeing our folks branch out and do things with other groups throughout the project. Beautiful.
Awesome. It's the best part of this sub project, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you're all wonderful. I'm so glad that you're all here. All right. So we'll look to check in with, I'll put that as a note. Check in with Sriram and potentially Nigel. Forward for now, at least. And if we need to figure out a different way to interact with them, then I'm sure that we will. A project that big, as long as it actually continues, I'm sure that we will stay on top of to some degree. Chris.
Sorry, I was writing down LinkedIn and I realized, do we want to set up an automation like we do for
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So we need to add another account to Buffer and
yeah. So that was the next item on the list on the agenda in updates and big wins. We got admin privileges to the company page on LinkedIn.
Like
so
LinkedIn/Kubernetes is awesome.
Yeah. For context, there was a company page that existed on LinkedIn for Kubernetes, and we didn't know where it came from or who owned it. So I went through LinkedIn's processes to create a support ticket, and they just went ahead and gave me admin access to the company page, which I got last night. And I added Chris in as an admin as well, because he had requested that. Why did yours work, but mine didn't? Because your request was already there, but it wouldn't let me make the request.
Oh.
It's probably better that I didn't, because your request was sitting there. There was a request sitting there from you to become an admin. So I made you an admin. So we do have access to that page now. There's a link to it here in the notes if you want to know which page we're talking about. That also gave me access to see who had created it, and it was someone who had been heavily involved in the community in the past, though I don't think they are now. So I reached out to them just to let them know that we are looking to take that page over. We have admin access now. I didn't get to explain all of this because they don't have their messages open. So I just requested to add them as a contact and put it in that. They also don't seem to be on the Slack anymore.
No, they're completely out of the org.
Yeah.
So it's Mike, Denise, or Denise, however you say it.
If folks are familiar, because it's definitely a name that I know. And
I've heard it many times, but in the past sense.
So if you happen to have contact with him and would like to let him know that we're trying to do this, do so. I'll give him a bit of time before I kick him out of his page, but I think he's inactive with it.
Definitely seems like it.
Yeah. So we do have access. We need to make a budget request to add that to Buffer, because that's going to be another $10 a month, right?
Whatever it is, yeah.
To add another channel. So we'll make that budget request, also create new Zapes.
Yep.
Mario has a question.
Maybe regarding the budget request, we should wait because eventually we potentially get the Kubernetes IO Citta account as well, and then we would need to do another budget request, and maybe it would make sense that we just do it in. We need 2 accounts because I think that we don't want to manually manage the Kubernetes IO Twitter
Yeah.
account as well.
No.
And
Yeah.
as far as I know, regarding the Kubernetes Twitter account, it is currently being discussed at CNCF.
Yeah, Gphy's on
level.
top of it is all
Yeah.
I've heard. Yeah.
Exactly. That's also the info that I have.
Which I'm surprised that it wasn't just a, oh yeah, we told people that already. Why did you not know it? Because it sounded like when the
Yeah.
person mentioned it, that they had already heard from the CNCF that that was the process, and they just, I don't know. But we'll see what happens with that. So that is also moving at least a little bit this week as we got the CNCF talking about it.
You know, if you wanted to use the budget request to kind of fast forward the Kubernetes IO thing, put in the request for both now.
True. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe
And
just go ahead and put
encourage
in the
them to
request for
get
both.
access figured out so they're not wasting money.
Yeah. Though that may unnecessarily drag down the LinkedIn request.
Right. That's the problem, right?
Yeah. So maybe I
yeah.
should go ahead and make the LinkedIn request and make the other request separately.
However you want to do it. You
Yeah.
know, we'll get there eventually.
Also need a budget request for that. We're gonna be up to 5 channels if we get both of these.
I know this is gonna be wild.
That is exciting. Any questions, comments about LinkedIn and Kubernetes.io or Kubernetes IO Twitter
Yeah.
account?
Yeah. Social media.
Wonderful.
Do we have
Actually,
any plans
yes.
how we are going to use Kubernetes.io and K8's contributor separately, or like we are going to like put the same tweet on both the accounts?
It will be,
I can
yeah, thank you, Ian.
I can answer this one.
That is what you're here for.
So the Kate's contributors account is contributor focused. So it is communications by contributors for contributors. So for example, an announcement about the contributor summit or about like contributor needs, things by maintainers for maintainers is for Kate's contributors. Kate's the Kubernetes IO account is for end user comms. So basically, if there are things that end users who aren't maintainers or contributors need to know, those are things that might be more better suited to the Kubernetes IO account. Does that make
And
sense?
Ian specifically joined our group, by the way, because they were interested in helping out with that. They have major presence on Zitter and are very
Sure.
familiar with it. So Ian is here to help out with that. So yes, any questions about the Kubernetes IO plan?
Does that make sense?
I mean, to be honest,
Yep.
it does, but as far as the automation
What that will actually
stuff,
look like?
yeah, automation will probably be the same on both,
I don't-
sadly. I don't
Probably
know.
not, because
Okay.
for Kate's contributors, we currently post both blogs from Kubernetes IO and from Kates.dev, right? And
Mhm,
Kates.dev
correct.
is a contributor audience as well. So we wouldn't need to post those on Kubernetes IO.
Good point.
But we
All right.
might want to do the ones from Kubernetes
Yes.
IO.
Wait, was
Maybe.
okay, I understood what Chris said differently. So just to clarify for my own purposes, do you mean that we literally just use the same buffer account and then hit the button for this one posts here, this one posts here, or do you mean that everything got cross-posted? Because one of
I
those
thought
makes
he meant
sense than the other.
Zapier's.
Zapier. Yeah. Sorry.
Or yeah,
So-
or whatever, you know.
Yeah. So we're pulling the RSS feeds for Kates.io and Kates.dev and sharing those articles out on both the Kates contributors accounts.
Via
for-
Zapier.
Yeah, using Zapier and Buffer. So we probably don't need the .dev, but definitely want the .io. Maybe.
Is there a way to like I haven't gone into Zapier yet. Like be like, okay, if it's this, it goes here, and if it's this, it goes here.
Yeah, I mean, we could just make it
Yeah,
so.
because there'll be separate channels in Buffer.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, like every Zap. So think about it like this. Every account on social media needs its own Zap, even with Buffer.
Okay.
So it's like RSS, Zapier takes that, sticks that in Buffer for Mastodon.
Got it. Okay.
And then same thing for Twitter, same thing for LinkedIn, so forth, so on. So yeah, we can do whatever we want, however we want. It's unique
enough.
Zaps for each one.
Do I have access to Zapier right now?
I can give it to you.
Okay.
Yeah, probably not. I know that I haven't been in there.
Oh, you
Mario
haven't?
also has a question.
Okay.
No, I
It-
haven't. Maybe once.
If nobody has access to Zapier but you, it might make sense to like, you
No,
know,
Nigel,
little
myself, a
training in
few
on
other
that.
folks. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few.
But
But
yeah,
also we do need to do training.
yes. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But back to Mario.
Sorry.
Yeah, basically, the only or we can also then use the Kubernetes.io account to send out help requests by SIG if they agree that it should go out to maybe non-contributors, right? So basically, we can fine tune the content as well there to say like,
Exactly.
this is a help request for maintainers, and this is a help request for potential new folks to join.
Because we have in the past gotten both, like groups within the community will be running like surveys that they want to get toward end users.
Yep.
And they'll come to us and we'll be like, we mainly communicate with a contributor audience. We'll do what we can. But with Kubernetes.io, we will have a much more direct link to end users. And also with the Kubernetes LinkedIn page, that is the start, I think, of our end user focused comms. So we can start exploring some of what that content is with LinkedIn.
Love it. Does it make sense to make me an admin on that one too?
Probably, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
We should do that.
Yeah, I
Totally.
didn't mean that we can't put contributor focused things in there, just
yeah.
that one is contributor focused, one is end user focused. That's all.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is some overlap and stuff, but
For sure.
it'll be something we're figuring out together.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I'm so excited about this. So
I am
Feels
too. It's
like
awesome that it's coming together.
we will at least have LinkedIn for an end user channel now.
Awesome. It's gonna be so good.
It's gonna be so good. Excited to take on. We're taking on more responsibility, and it's great.
Like we should at some point think about strategies for what content lands on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Because videos and stuff like that perform very well there.
Oh,
So yeah.
interesting. We'll
Even
probably
live stream stuff like that. Yeah, there's a lot.
We could go ahead and have that discussion now. We could also plan to do it next week. We have to also save it for the end of the meeting because we're running a little long this time. We've
Yeah,
got 15 minutes left.
Let's
so
do it next week. I mean,
let's
to be
plan
honest.
to do that next week. And Ian, in the meantime, let's get you added as an admin there. And
Sweet.
we can, the three of us can start figuring out kind of a plan and share it with the rest of the group. And Arpit also, by the way, is a social media shadow. So we should include him where it makes sense along this passage.
I want to say I gave Arpit access. I forget. And that's a problem in and of itself.
Wait, what were you saying?
Who has access to Zapier buffer? Like,
Oh yeah, you can figure that out.
Yeah. And I DM'd you in the Cave Slack.
Sweet.
Yeah, Arpit, we probably won't add you as a admin to the LinkedIn page just yet, but we'll try to keep you informed as we're making decisions on that.
Yeah, basically, once the originator is gone, whenever that happens, I think.
Yeah,
it's
I was going to give it a day. And
Yeah, give it. I mean, to be honest with you, I'd give it till next meeting.
Give it a week. All right.
Yeah,
Cool.
why not?
I'm
Because
cool
we
with
don't-
that. But in the
yeah.
meantime, we can start
Oh yeah.
assuming that we own it now. I think. Anyway, moving on, since we only have 14 minutes left. Blog post still not started, how to package your own deb RPM. So this is the blog post about the Linux package repos. Mario, I assume?
Yes. So basically, we agreed, or a lot of folks agreed, that we should create a blog post about how to package your own deb and RPM packages. We eased up the process a little bit and created a tool where you can basically, it's a Docker container where you say like, I want to have this package for this type, for this version of Kubernetes, and then you hit build, and then you get your own packages. So the tool is ready. I think we are missing 1 or 2 tests. It will be so then that we can publish this together with the article. We need to write the blog post. Marco and I agreed on who writes which part, but we just didn't have the time to do this. So this will hopefully happen next week. The agreement is also that the blog post comes out after the repositories are gone away. And so far they haven't, although we don't know when they will go away. That's the problem. That's our main problem. We don't know when they will go away. So the blog post should be done as soon as they will go away and then published. It's currently the working document is inside of the comms shared drive, as it is linked in the meeting minutes. And as soon as we have a draft, we are happy to get some reviews, especially for spelling and stuff like this.
Yeah, I can help with any of that next week if you want.
Yeah, we will ping you just as I have the time to write something. And
What
Marco
is,
as well.
just out of curiosity, what is the old URL? Like, I would like to set up a ping or some kind of watch monitor just so we know when it goes away, at least one of us.
It's apt dot something something.
Yeah.
It's on top of the Kubernetes website.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, shit. What was I thinking? Kubernetes and IO. Off I go.
Yeah. It's app.kubernetes.io and yum.kubernetes.io, aka packages.cloud.google.com. The problem is that there are still other things on top of this, and nobody knows if it will stay, if it will not stay. So this is
Wait, other things on top of
based only Google related stuff is on this is as well on this.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
So nobody knows anything currently. That's the thing.
Sadly, that seems like a lot of big tech companies right now.
Because you have also cloud SDKs and from GCP and Compute Engine, OS logins and stuff like this in the same registry. Yeah, but that's the update. As soon as I have more, I will keep you posted.
Status.chrisshort.net will be monitoring those endpoints shortly.
Wonderful.
Yes, I have my own status dashboard as well as my own CDN, Mario.
Awesome. Glad to hear some movement on this. I know that we were wondering when the other blog post would come out. And this is going to be very important for end user communications because it is about how end users should proceed beyond this point. It gives them some instruction on like, here is how you should be doing this.
And we have a lot of folks in our customer base that are currently running double shifts to update their clusters as long as the repositories are still around.
Fun.
Cool. All right. So we'll move on to the next item. Any questions about Linux repo, removal, deprecation business? Cool. So you'll be hopefully working on that blog post in the next week. I'm sure that you'll keep us up to date on Slack because you've been doing a fantastic job of that. Thank you, Mario, for joining our group. And we'll try to keep an eye on that and help out however we can. If you're just like totally failing to get it done, you need some help writing, you can let us know that. If you just need the review help, you can let us know that. Sounds like that'll be the thing, but we are here to help. All right, next item is the stuff that I already added because we were talking about it. Chris learned Mermaid.js, which is wonderful. We should probably go to the board so that we can figure out what that item was that we needed that for.
Yeah.
And we should make clips of the buffer walkthrough and do that for Zapier as well. So let's go to the board. Oh, by the way, I did have the LinkedIn page up here. So if you're interested, it exists. All right, we are in the comms board. So in Ready for Review, we only have the one thing, which is the SIG release spotlight, which is out now. It was not yet last meeting, but it is now. Congratulations to Nitish. Wonderful work. Glad to see it. He's not on, but great stuff. It's a really fun one. It's got some little illustrations that he did to explain the release process. And so it's a good one. But he was going to do 2 SIG release spotlights. So I'm going to leave this in Ready for Review to check in with him about the other one when we can. I think it's probably, maybe I should move it to in progress. I'm not signed in, so I won't right now, but we'll remember to check in with him next week on the status of his other blog post about SIG release, because he was doing one on each sub-project. So that was working. We'll move over to the in progress items. Vishal's SIG infra one also still on hold, so need to check in with him on that. Next one is contributor site. Add a SIG architecture spotlight article. SIG architecture stuff. Frederica.
Yep. Give me just 1 second, please.
Oh yeah, take your time. I'll bring this up real quick as a reminder. Frederico is working on a series on SIG architecture.
So there's no feedback from either of the missing either person of that are missing in the series. So I have no I wasn't able to get more information this week from them through Slack, so I really can't do much more in terms of this until I get some reply. And that's why I opened another front, and I've started to ask SIG API machinery for an interest, because if this is stuck, it's already stuck for like 2 months. I'm going to open up the just another thread, so that hopefully we continue with this rhythm of having monthly or sometimes even twice per month updates to the blogs.
Wow, actually having a rhythm to blog updates, what a concept. This is why you have a contributor award that says you're a boss.
Oh yeah, that's yeah, but I think, I mean, we always did this. I guess that we're now just this is the kind of things that when you start doing it more, you want to continue to do it, because going back in the rhythm is more noticeable than ramping up. So yeah, I'm a bit I wouldn't say sad, but it's unfortunate that these specific ones haven't been progressing with the promptness that I would expect. But anyway, I mean, you always say that one of the issues with this spotlight articles is that we are dependent on the availability of others, and this floats a lot, even recently during the vacation period, etc. So maybe it's just bad luck, and we will get something better in terms of an update for next week.
Wonderful. And then the next one is also is the blog article on book reading.
That's being targeted at for additional feedback for the end of month. So it's the same update that I did last week.
Close.
Yeah, that month ain't far.
So hopefully they're chatting with you and you're moving. Wonderful. Thank you, Federico, for pushing on these. As you said, sometimes these take a while because we're dependent on other folks. So it's okay and understandable, and we appreciate your work on it. The next one is actually...
This is the new one.
That's the new one that you just added.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So you're just starting to reach out to them and stuff?
I've just opened the issue and reached out to the shares and tech leads asking. Obviously, if they say no or don't say anything, I will close the issue, but it's in progress in the sense that it's taken, and I've moved with the initial step of the process.
Wonderful. And Let's move on to the next one since we have 4 minutes left. The SIG node spotlight. Arpit, what's your status there? You were doing
Yeah.
exams and paused for a while, but I think you had some movement last week.
Yep. So I reached out to the SIGs on the SIG meeting this week, and I shared the doc. So the good news is the doc is started to be filled. Basically, they are answering the questions. Now let's see how much time will that take.
Wonderful. As we have established, it can take a while, so we appreciate your persistence in trying to get that done. Wonderful. I'm gonna try to log into GitHub real quick here so that I can make that change. The next item was Sundapan working on the SIG help, SIG calls for help, which I also need to update that item. So there we go. I should be signed in now. Wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to update that SIG node one real quick. Edit title. I should be able to edit. There we go. January. Last one was the 12th. If I can do math. 12th and 19th. Moving forward. Okay. Getting SIG chairs. Are you doing the chairs for this one? To respond to questions. All right, so I've updated that. Thank you, Arpit. Looks like Sundapan isn't on today, so we probably won't really do a big update on this. We have 2 minutes left, but to review real quick, we are changing this. Actually, I want to edit the title of this rather than annual report. This is going to be help wanted posts. Help wanted posts. And we were going to do that based on the like lightning talks that we did at the contributor summit in North America in November. Mario, thank you, Mario, went through and grabbed timestamps and some information about all of those. I didn't put that link in here, did I? He put that in last time, but I didn't put it in. LinkedIn, Twitter. Oh, here it is. I'm going to copy that link and put it in here real quick. Switching. Use contribs. Contrib summit lightnings. Cool. We only have a minute left, so I'm going to run past this real quick. We can come back to it if folks have time after the meeting. Last week in Kubernetes development, establishing a process to prevent duplication LWKD articles. Mario had also created an example automation on that. We were waiting for LWKD folks' feedback. Did you want to throw in a comment? And then the last one is attempt to contact Kubernetes LinkedIn group owners. Done.
Yeah.
I guess I should add a new in progress item though of set up LinkedIn on buffer.
Yeah.
I have added that, and we still need to make the budget requests. Making budget request Jan 19th. Add assignee, me. Cool. All right, and with that, we are at time, but I wanted to take a few minutes here if the new folks especially can hang on, which I feel terrible for doing this, but I wanted to go over the Spotlight blogs a little bit as an item that new folks could take on. But if you need to go, feel free to go at this point. Any last minute items from folks who might need to drop? Cool, I'm gonna go over Spotlight blogs real quick then. So as I said earlier, Spotlight blogs are a project where you interview one of the leads of a SIG, the co-chairs of a SIG, to learn what their SIG is all about, and then you write a blog post about it. We usually recommend doing the interview asynchronously via like Google Docs or something, because then you have all the stuff already written out. It's kind of easier to get it into blog post form in our experience. It's a suggestion, not a requirement. But Frederico is our blogging lead. So if you are interested in doing one of these spotlight blogs, you're welcome to pick up any SIG that hasn't been done in the last 2 years, which we have a list of those, and which is not currently in action, which is not on the list. But you can work with Frederico. You did have a couple of, I guess the SIG architecture spotlight was the recommendation. You might want to come up with a couple more recommendations just to throw on the to-do
Yeah, on
lists.
the to-do list, yes.
Yeah.
And we have a couple of markdown documents in our Git repository that explain to a decent level of detail the entire process. So it's actually quite easy to pick up. It goes into how to choose the SIG, how to contact the leads and the shares, what is the most often used format, what is the process, what are the typical questions that they make. So I think that we did a reasonable job in making some guidelines. And as always, myself and others are available for any questions. So I will update the to-do list with more SIGs, but in general, if this is an idea that you feel that you can and would like to contribute to, it's just picking up a SIG that hasn't been covered before and start harassing people so that they can answer questions. And I'm joking because most of them are thrilled for the opportunity to actually share what the SIG does with the wider Kubernetes community.
And if you have questions for us and you want to contact us beyond this call, you can find us in SIG ContribEx comms in Slack. Questions always welcome to do this. Any questions from folks about the Spotlight blog series concept? If you have a SIG you're interested in, also do tell us and we'll help you check if it's been done before.
Do we have one for SIG CLI?
That's a good question.
I think we do. I think we did.
I have done
actually. I think it was. I think that was reasonably recent. Arpit did it July. Exactly. I'm looking into it. Spotlight on
Arpit's
SIG
right
CLI.
here.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Arpit's probably sitting here like, yes.
Yeah,
Sure.
that would be one post I'm interested to read.
Do it. Wonderful. And we are up for folks redoing them after like a couple years.
Yeah.
So if you're still with us in a year, you could do it again. I guess a year and a half.
Yeah, I'll stick around.
Nice. This is a good thing I mentioned that. Now you're stuck here. Wonderful.
Can we do spotlights on like not SIGs but project? If a SIG has some interesting project, can we do a blog on that?
I'm up for that proposal.
Like for example, what project? But in general, I would say yes, because if you look into the SIG architecture series, we are actually doing a spotlight not on SIG architecture as a SIG, but we are doing one for each of the SIG architecture sub-projects. That's an example of a spotlight that's not directly on a SIG. But maybe you're thinking
but
of
if you have something in mind.
else?
No, I am actually just working on a project issue, so this thing just came to my mind. Like if SIGs are interested in highlighting some particular project, we can ask them and do a spotlight on a particular project too. Like we have multiple contributors who contribute to particular project, and if they are interested in doing a spotlight on that, we can do that also. Just an idea I came up with.
Yeah, absolutely. Wonderful. Any other questions? It's a pretty flexible project. Talk to Frederico for more and to get yourself assigned to an item if you want some work to do. Always available. And yeah, find us in SIG ContribEx comms for the new folks. If you haven't joined that channel on Slack yet, please do. You can find us there. Always open to questions. Awesome. So we are 7 minutes over. There is one more thing that I thought of as we were going through that I would like to bring up. Frederico, you've been a blogging lead for a while. We currently have a sub-project lead shadow of Avinash. I was wondering if you would also like to be a
absolutely.
project
I
lead.
would.
Have we already talked about that?
No, because I
Okay,
haven't.
cool.
I
You
mean,
and I have talked about it.
Yeah,
Catalan.
Chris and I mentioned it.
I mean, we talked about this even in last quarter.
Oh yeah, you're up for it?
I would love to. I just need people to start doing it and showing it. If anyone is been doing this for any amount of time and feels that they want to do it, I would be thrilled to have a shadow
you'd
for
prefer
it
to not have both
with a
hats?
medium-term goal of actually passing the baton, obviously.
Gotcha. So you'd prefer not to have both hats?
I prefer not to have what? Sorry?
Not to have both hats? Because you could
Both
be both at the
responsibilities.
same time.
No, I mean, I prefer, I think that the natural way of things to work is for people to step in, improve what they, to give their own twist to things and improve them. Then have someone else start to do things and then move on to other things, right? This is what happens in general. I mean, it's not written in stone, but I would think that anyone joining our group or others must have this notion that they can step up to whatever role they have, right? Because otherwise we will all, I mean, there's a risk of people just eternally being the ones doing the same thing, which doesn't help anyone. So yes, I would, and this is a good opportunity for it. Maybe I should post a message on our Slack channel as well, just to make it more open, because maybe there are people that are interested, but they don't actually feel that they want or don't know how to do it. I mean, just ping me, send me a message. I'm interested in learning more about the process, in shadowing this without any compromises. Obviously, I'm not saying that whomever does it is immediately anointed as the official successor for anything, but as with other shadow programs, the goal is to make people able to step up if they need, or just to learn things and move on to other things if they feel that they've learned enough.
Wonderful. We can talk about that more offline. Thank you very much, everyone.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Yeah, Frederico, I was going to say that too. Ahead of me. But thank you very much, everyone, for joining today. I think we'll go ahead and say goodbye to our friends on YouTube, and I will stop the recording. Bye, YouTube.
Hasta luego.